Hey guys. So I've been here for about 2 weeks, landed on the 14th of January. Everything was still pretty good at that time. I think about the 20th, we went into lockdown. And then from then onwards, I kind of just understood that I'm not going to make my flight back.
Describe for us what it's like in the city. I mean, usually it would be bustling being Chinese New Year.
Yeah, normally it's always bustling, doesn't matter Chinese New Year's or not, especially with me being living in the center of it. All the shops usually are open. People are out until, until 1 or 2 in the mornings. Now I can only ever see 1 or 2 cars at a time on a main road that's 5 lanes each way.
And what about you personally? Where are you staying? Are you venturing out at all? And how are you keeping up your supplies?
I've been staying with my grandparents on my aunties on my mom's side, on my dad's side. I've been mainly staying at home. All of us have been at home. I've only left the house 2 days ago to come to dad's place over here. And that was by car. And even for that 10-minute drive, we were stopped halfway for a fever check, and then also checked at the complex before being allowed in. As far as supplies are concerned, we have enough food for about half a month to 1 month because we've stocked up before Chinese New Year's. Just trying to ration and cook maybe simpler foods to keep some of the meat and keep it in the freezer and everything for later. Supermarkets are still open, but we're trying to avoid going out as much as we can.
And what have you been told by the Australian government in terms of possible evacuation?
Yeah, so I was in touch with the embassy, with the DFAT about 4 days ago to write down my name and my location. And I received the news this morning from my friends and family that there was in talks of an evacuation. So I follow up with them again today. They basically said that it should happen, and the elderlies, the pregnant, and the families with kids will be evacuated first. If there is no room for me in the bottom of the priority list because I'm considered as the least vulnerable amongst the 400-500, then they will try and get a second plane, but it's not certain. Like, just everything's in the air still at the moment. Nothing's concrete.
And if you do make it onto a plane out, how do you feel about being sent to Christmas Island for 2 weeks?
Yeah, so we've been talking about that. I've been talking about that with my family for the entire day today. Very much mixed feelings about it, more just because of the lack of transparency with the process that's going to happen to us once we arrive. What's going to happen to our freedom? What are we going to be allowed to do and not allowed to do? Are we going to have our phones taken away? Are we going to be able to contact people outside for those 14 days? None of us made apparent to us. So at the moment, we're very mixed up on whether I should try and make that flight or not.
And are you satisfied with the way the outbreak has been handled by authorities, both in China and Australia?
I think in China, we're really doing everything that we can ever since the lockdown to get this under control. A new hospital has just been built over here that's opened specifically for the containment of patients with the coronavirus. So I'm quite happy with the way that things have been handled over here. I think everyone's doing the best that they can. There was definitely an initial amount of hysteria. I think it's calmed down a bit now, and everyone's listening to the authorities and self-isolating at home and actually trying to go to the hospital as least as possible. In terms of Australia, from what I've heard is that the government is saying it's not a big issue at the moment in Australia and there's no cause for harm. But I do recommend people to be wary and be careful and still take the same precautions that we're taking. Maybe not leaving the home at all, but definitely wearing a mask, washing your hands regularly, and avoiding as much contacts, because even though it's 5 or 6 people right now in Australia, it started with 5 or 6 in Wuhan here as well. And now we're up to 4,000 confirmed with this infection and over 100 dead. So I would definitely recommend more care to be taken, to be more proactive in Australia.
Indeed.
And everywhere else.
And Daniel, when do you think you'll be able to return to your life in Sydney?
Oh, man, I have no idea. Hopefully as soon as possible. I mean, if I do take on this flight and I do make it, then I suspect maybe it'll be 3 or 4 weeks when I can actually be cleared to get back to my life in Sydney. If I don't, then maybe end of March, beginning of April. It could be later.
But I understand your visa expires in March. Is that a concern for you?
Yeah, it definitely is. My visa does expire at the end of March to the beginning of April. So I'll either have to see if I can extend it being over here, or if hopefully they lessen the restrictions and allow me out of the city within the next 2 months. So we're really, at the moment, like I said, nothing's really certain. There's a lot of options depending on what happens, but until we know what the decisions are, there's not much that we can do right now.
And Daniel, mentally, you sound like you are remaining relatively positive.
Yeah. Look, I think that's really all we can do in this situation as individuals over here, right? If I can't really do much to help other people, the most I can do is help myself and help my family, try and make light of the situation, see the silver lining in it, do what we can. We use this as a good opportunity to spend quality time together as a family. I was supposed to go and meet a couple of clients for work. So obviously that's canceled. So I can spend more time with my grandparents since I only see them once a year anyway. I think in this time of crisis, not just with coronavirus, but everything, it's good to have some positivity being spread and to have some support for everyone.
And what about friends that you've spoken to who also remain in lockdown in the city? How are they coping?
Same way as me, really. We've kind of just, we video call here and there, seeing how everyone's family is and everything. Obviously, we can't see each other, and I ask them how they're going, what are they doing with their time. It's same as everyone else. We kind of just, we eat, we drink, we sleep, and then in our spare time, we get up to a lot of interesting activities to keep ourselves occupied. There are some people that's just playing ping pong or badminton at home. We've been playing mahjong at home as well, pretty much every single day, just to pass time by. Yeah, so I think it's a bit claustrophobic being clogged up, but it's nothing much we can do about it. So yeah.
Well, Daniel, thank you for sharing your experience with us. We really appreciate it and hope a solution is found for you really soon.